Okay.
Nice.
Okay, very good.
Got it.
All right, well, I'll start the meeting. My name is Mark McCleskey with McCleskey AI, and I have Randy and Kevin here who are with Agenta Audio LLC. They are, I have a contract with them, and we work together. I represent them in the form of a commission sales rep type of arrangement. So what we'd like to do today is kick off some of the needs of on your end. So Tim, why don't you start off with that, and then we'll follow.
Sure. I was hoping Skylar was going to do this for us because it's his area. Eric and I are in marketing, and Skylar's the tech guy that we need on this call. So essentially what we're doing, Randy and Kevin, is we have a product called UMax, and we're selling 5G internet. Okay. The differentiation point that we offer as a firm is that we have privacy that no one else has. If you go to anyone else, you're not going to get the privacy we have. We're having a pending agreement about to launch with Norton that's going to assist in that. So we'll have our own privacy built in. We're on our own backbone and things like that. So we offer 4 tiers of internet, from $30 to, what is it, 120 or something like that, depending on what speed. So that's essentially what we're selling. We have a rudimentary website that is functional, that takes you right through the process. What we need is a standalone solution for our sales back end. What's happening when we're right now, we're buying a lot of Google ads, and for the cost of Google ads, they're not cheap, right? And what's happening is the website alone is only converting maybe 50% of those leads. The rest of them,
or 50?
50.
Okay.
Half of the leads. So what's happening is we're losing half of the cost of our investment in Google because we're not converting 100% or something close. So what our thoughts were is that what we need, instead of, we do have a limited call center of 3 or 4 people that are trained, that are humans live here in the US that can talk. But what we actually need to have, we believe, is the AI solution you guys have built, which we absolutely love, by the way. It's very, very impressive. Mark did a hell of a job in presenting you guys. And I expected to see Elon Musk sitting behind you from what he told me, about you guys. So we're really thrilled that you're here. But what we need you to do is put together a solution on the back end for us that converts the half of the leads that the website cannot convert by itself. That's the bottom line. Eric, you want to hit anything on that?
Yeah, that's right. We need to be able to facilitate, the lead coming in. We have some customer service, and the company really hasn't ever focused on this. Is company's done so much different development, and that's one of several things that the company's doing. But specifically, the task at hand is to add a sales element to UMax. And this day and age, it's customer service and sales, and maybe even turn it over to a sales department, one of our customer reps when we get down the road. But yeah, we're losing them. We haven't had a problem generating traffic or bringing traffic to the website. We never really have. It's just losing them on their way to path to purchase. And so, and I do apologize for Skylar. Something must have happened.
I'm here now. Sorry.
Skylar is in the house.
Skylar, yeah.
Okay, let me make the intros here, okay? So we've got Skylar. You've already met Mark and all the wonderful things that he's working with. He is working with Randy and Kevin. Say hi to these guys. These 2 guys are all the brains and the tech behind the AI solution, McCleskey AI. So Skylar, we're just walking in. We've introduced everybody. Everybody knows everybody. And by the way, Skylar is there's no official title that I know, but he's the head of everything technology for this for years, and he knows this. He knows the back end because he built it. Skylar is on the level of you guys for anything you can possibly imagine to do. Skylar has always done it for us in flying colors. He's just fucking brilliant and amazing. So we're fortunate to have him. But I told him, Skylar, what we want is we want phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 is we want an inbound solution for the 50% of calls, the Google leads that we have driving in are not being converted by our website. So we want the AI to solve that in phase 1. Phase 2, I think, is we want outbound AI marketing, and what that will be or whatnot, or how that works, that's all to be determined in a phase 2. But for right now, we want to focus on just the AI. Can you take it from here?
Yeah, you nailed that part of it though. That's I would agree. I would agree completely.
Skylar,
So,
we
hey,
get to
guys.
see, we're gonna get to see your beautiful face.
Not on this call, but I'll jump on the next one. I'm driving right now and moving
Okay, cool.
around. That's
Very cool.
typically
He's in
I
a
have
witness
so much
protection
going on.
program. We can't allow his
Yeah.
face to.
That's it. But no, man, honestly, I have like 4 cell phones. I bounce around so much. I do so much. It is extremely hard. It would be extremely hard to get everything done if every time I was on a call, I couldn't bounce around at the same time and multitask sometimes. So at the moment, I'm doing that basically as I talk to you.
Cool.
But guys, it's nice to meet everybody. I already checked out the AI agent. So if we're gonna do a phase 1 and phase 2 like this, then I would say the focus of this call and everything else, the pricing, let's let this be based off of just getting this agent in place, and then we can go from there.
So this will be, we're talking about just strictly the outbound agent as we gave you a demo.
No, inbound.
No, inbound. So what I'll do
Inbound.
is we'll have probably, well, it's going to be hundreds, and it'll vary, but a bunch of phone numbers, a bunch of leads that have come through the site, abandoned checkout, whatever it is that we'll give you and hand off, and then you can have the AI agent start reaching out to these people, and we can use it in its full force, sort of as an inbound callback to these people, and then text message could be involved in that too. As far as I was thinking, like the link, probably what we'll do is I know it's going to be a little extra work to have the whole checkout process done because it's got to integrate into our system and everything. So maybe in the time being, like you mentioned, Mark, it can send a text message with a link that takes them straight to the part of the flow in our website for them to sign up.
Right.
And then possibly if they want to talk to a real person, we could do a handoff to our customer service department if they like want to talk to a person and sign up. And then we'll work on the rest of it and
Okay.
double back and you know, do
Cool.
that so it doesn't hold us up.
All right.
And so it'll just be us handing the leads off and you dropping them in and doing your inbound
That
call
would
agent
actually be
basically.
an outbound, I think, but I'd like to turn it over to Randy right now. Randy, why don't you drive the car for a little bit?
Well, no, it would be outbound. I guess you're right. Sorry, I said inbound, but it is outbound. You're
What do
calling
you
them.
mean?
Randy, go
They're
ahead.
still considered outbound because we're calling
Mhm.
them.
Okay,
So
but
it
let's
sounds.
get our terms
Before we
straight,
get
right?
too much into the weeds here, yeah, could I just ask a few questions to get like a little bit
Yeah,
more
please.
context about what's going on? I guess the first thing is, could you describe how the end-to-end flow, like from if I'm just a user that gets hit with a Google ad to actually signing up for this, like what that entire flow looks
Yeah.
like?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now they're going into it's mainly Google pay-per-click we're doing. So they're finding us on Google, they're going into the website, they land on our homepage, they do a zip code coverage, and then they pick their subscription plan, which is just mainly right now we're just pushing internet and 5G internet. So there's like three plan options there, or 4 for internet rather. And they go straight to checkout after that, simple checkout process, and we ship it out. It's pretty simple.
Okay.
So
And earlier.
where we're missing everything here is that zip code coverage is one big one. We have a lot of emails that we collect every day, hundreds sometimes, and people drop off right there, so we don't collect their phone number. But if they make it through the pre-qualification, that is one step we just added that I forgot. There is a pre-qualification. It's a soft credit pool. When they input their information there, we capture their phone number. So as long as they make it past the pre-qualification, we do have their phone number. And then if they make it to checkout and enter their information, but don't, sign or put a credit card in, we capture that phone number and address and full information there. So we have those emails, and right now we're doing email marketing through MailChimp and stuff with them. But eventually, if there's anything you think you could help out with that too, would be beneficial. And we have live chat agents and stuff, so you could use that too if you need to. But we have 24/7 live chat on the website.
Okay, so what I'm on the website right now. I'm like filling out the forms myself too, and so I guess what I'm hearing is that people get to the website, so that's not a problem. People end up on the website. They fill out I see there's like the first zip code coverage, and then it takes you to the
Yep.
plans. There's a zip code
Yep.
and email, and they generally fill out that zip code and email as well. But then like maybe they don't actually commit and do the payment. Is that kind of what I'm hearing?
So yeah, we have quite a few people, probably like 70%, if I had to take a guess at it, that drop off after we get their email. But then we also have probably about 60% of our orders end up with abandoned checkouts. They enter all of their information, they make it all the way through the flow, they're done, and it's either insufficient. A lot of them sometimes are insufficient funds, or the card doesn't actually go through, or they just flat out don't put a card in. But I find it interesting. I don't know what's happening there, but they fill everything else out. They give us all their personal information, and we just lose them right there. And that's what we're wanting to capitalize on. Those people that are, hot leads, whatever you want to call them, that just kind of aren't being closed.
Okay.
Okay.
So the flow is
Oh, go ahead.
okay. So the flow is Google ad, they go to website, check the zip code coverage, they pick a subscription plan. At that point, you have their email, but 70% drop off here between this and the soft credit pool that gets their phone number.
Correct.
That's correct so far. Okay. And then from there, the next step between the soft credit pool to the actual checkout where they pay for it, there's another 60% drop off. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And part of that,
So
so the whole thing is, if they don't pass the credit, the people that pass the credit check go to a payment structure that is way, way, way cheaper. So obviously we see a lot less of a drop off there. If they don't pass the credit check, they have to pay a $200 deposit, and it's a way different
I
ask.
see.
So that's definitely playing a role. And it's so far, it's like 50-50, it looks like, with the people that come to the pre-qualification passing and failing. So it's a little different whether somebody passes or fails. It kind of switches
I
up
see.
everything.
Okay. Pass or fail. Different routes. Okay.
And I'd have to send you a link to see anything past the failed, unless you want to put your information in there. Can't really see past it.
Okay. That's fine. So I guess our primary goal in this whole flow is to capture that 60% drop off between when they get their soft credit pulled and they have all their info, we have the phone number now, but they never make it to the actual checkout process.
Exactly, to start with. And maybe phase 2 we can talk about some other
We
stuff.
can expand later. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Do you know the rough number of calls or like phone numbers we're looking at daily? Trying to estimate like
It's
minutes.
gonna vary as we up our marketing budget. We're just getting rolling again. So in a couple, if we were launched, it's gonna be, I'm trying to take a guess at how many leads it's probably gonna be based off of what the budget will be at that point. It's gonna probably start out with, it's probably only gonna be like 20 for the next 90 days. We're waiting for something in distribution to be fixed. And until it can be scaled up, the process of them doing our provisioning and kitting is taking way too long. We got to put some software in place that's getting
Gotcha.
done. So we're going to be capped at like keeping the marketing at 50 or 100 people a week for like the next 90 days. So that's why it's a great time to kind of get some of this in place. So not a lot during that period of time. It'll probably maybe be 50 a day, or 20 between 20 and 50 a day, or
20
something
and
like
50
that,
calls
probably.
a day. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
And
a
then
great
past
place.
there, we hope once everything's humming, we hope to like rock and roll. And if we up the budget the way I'm wanting them to, it would probably turn into at least a couple hundred, 500 maybe.
You're gonna 10x the ad budget then at that point.
We've been working towards it. I mean, there's nothing, like, we're not spending much on marketing right now at all.
I
It's
see.
all
Okay.
beta testing kind of thing. So we've seen the results we need to see, to scale it up. We just got to get everything ready.
Okay. If you don't mind me asking,
how much are you guys spending right now on the ads to get 20 to 50 calls to this point?
It's to get recently we've seen 25 to 40 people at like I can't remember. It was a 40 or $50 cost of acquisition on Google
Okay.
for those subscribers. And that was without any of this in place and any follow-up really happening. That's why I was very happy with what I saw personally, because I feel like we stick this in place, we get that down to 20 or 30 for a month-to-month service like this. That's not bad.
Yeah, okay. So $40 cost per acquisition. Each acquisition is the 20 to 50 calls.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no. So let me figure. So we got out of 25 signups or 50 signups, we usually end up with just as many. Now let's see, we end up with just as many draft orders, which is abandoned carts probably. So I say out of 50 orders, 25 of those end up being abandoned checkout. So that's 25 that we would provide to you basically. And then
Okay.
the iSoft pool's probably doubled. You know, we're kind of new into this, so I can't give exact numbers, but iSoft pool is probably twice the fallout. So out of 50 orders, it's probably gonna be 75 phone numbers, 100 phone numbers that actually come through. We're not seeing a lot of, it's not horrible. We're converting like 30% of the people that, or 35 that, you know, and the rest end up being drop offs. So it's just hard to say right now, man, honestly, because we have some initial results, but we've changed some things and we added this deposit and it's going to shake up a lot of this. So a lot of this is just kind of guesses off of what I've seen so far.
Gotcha. Okay.
Sorry, one more question from me. Do you have any metrics surrounding like people that make it to your website? What percentage of those actually make it to the checkout page?
Absolutely,
Ballpark.
that we do have. We have a lot of Google Analytics, and from the past, there's even some in there where we've done quite a bit of marketing and in the past, you know, spent quite a bit of money. So you'll have a ton of that to look at.
Okay. Yeah, gotcha. I'm just curious, like, because I am going through this website. I know it does ask for like zip code a few times, and there are a few pages here. So I'm just curious as like when people actually fill out from like that first zip code to I'm on the checkout page, like how I'm just curious how what percentage of people actually get through that whole process.
I can get
Yeah.
you. I just don't have them in front of me. Kyle does our
Okay,
Google ad
perfect. Yeah.
marketing, but he has all of the analytics and it's set up all the way through checkout. All of the everything's in place, so you'll be able to see a very detailed analytical
Nice.
readout of what's happening.
Cool. That sounds good to me. And I guess the next question is like, I don't know, Randy, is there anything you want to continue?
One last clarification. Earlier, we said there's a 50% conversion on the website, and you guys are losing half. That's the bottom line we're trying to focus on with the AI agent.
Mm.
What did you mean by conversion? Like they actually checked out,
They
like
sign up.
50%.
Yeah.
They signed up
Check out, sign up.
and they're
And it's
paying
a
money.
mix of plans. Oh yeah, they're paying. So right now, for the ones that I'm referring to, it's mainly people because we just introduced the deposit structure before we didn't even have a credit check. So I'm speaking on mainly people that pass the credit check because that's the same pricing that we previously ran these ads at. But you just pay for your service up front. The hardware for the internet and the router is incorporated. So like if you're going to get an unlimited plan, it's 140 bucks. You're charged 140 upfront for the month. We send out the equipment. The billing starts
Mm,
2 weeks later when they get their
Gotcha.
equipment or when equipment arrives. That's when the 30 days start.
okay. Well, but
Gotcha. And
that means for the
so,
Google Ads 50% conversion, that's not bad. 50% of them are actually becoming paying customers.
so that's 50% of the people who land on your
No,
website
it's not.
end
Yeah, it's
the
50.
entire process.
It's it's 50% of the people that make it to checkout. I didn't say
Oh,
that
I
right.
see.
So
I
it's
see.
not 50% from
Okay.
Google, from
That
the
that
people
makes
that
more
actually are
sense.
making it. Yeah, it's like, yeah. It's 50% like we see orders and then half of them end up being insufficient, either from a credit card not going through or they just fall out after putting their whole, our system, if they enter all their order information and click continue, that captures it as a draft order. So we either capture them as a draft order with no credit card or their credit card fails, and it's about 50% versus the people that are successfully getting subscribed
All
at
right,
that point.
great. Yeah. Otherwise, I was like, dude, I need your marketing team.
Yeah, no, no. We did get a $40 cost of acquisition, which I kind of think
Yeah,
is decent, but
that's pretty good. Okay. All right. Kev, do you have any other questions then? Should we move on to the AI like technology?
Yeah, maybe this is like completely unrelated, but I guess like credit card fails, like through the website, are there credit card like retries, like this credit card didn't work, please enter another credit card?
yeah, it's all configured. And I haven't figured it out, to be honest with you, man. We're using Stripe and we have everything in place. They're asked, and some of these fell multiple times. Like it'll be like one that just came through last night was a bad expiration date and then insufficient funds after that. And it's had me a little confused, honestly. We've done everything to make sure there's nothing, wrong, and everything's reading out. It tells us exactly what the bank's calling back or what the issue is. So we don't talk to a lot of these people. The ones that we have haven't been related to this really yet because we don't have the follow up. It's more customers that are using the product. So anything you could think of, man, I'll take, honestly, on what's happening there, because I kind of find it a little weird too. We get a lot of insufficient funds, and you look at it from like the eyes of a person that's gone through this whole process. It's very clear the checkout breaks down exactly what they're going to pay. Like, why go through all of that if there's no money on the card? But I don't know.
Yeah, so I guess is that even a credit card thing, or isn't that just a limited debit card? But I don't know. That's a different
No,
thing
Stripe you can
entirely.
use. Stripe, you can
Um,
use it right now. You can use a debit and credit card the way we have it set up. You just can't use prepaid cards.
Gotcha.
I see.
Can you even
Okay.
use like Klarna or Afterpay?
Yeah, yeah. So we tried Klarna. At the moment, it's not up. We did have it up, but we do have, every other option that Stripe offers is a payment
Mhm.
integration available too. It's not just credit and
Okay.
debit. We've had people pay that way too through, some of those other options. So good to go
So
there. The
if
only thing we don't have is ACH, basically.
okay. Yeah, I
We
don't think
had
that
a
would be that
Klarna.
popular.
And sorry, just
We
to
had
clarify a
Klarna.
little bit,
Like
so people are on the
nobody.
checkout page on your web.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, Tim, go ahead.
I just said we had Klarna for a while, but nobody could pass the credit check. It was ridiculous.
Oh,
Yeah, it didn't
really?
work. It was, yeah, no
Okay.
one was getting by it.
So it was
We have a hard
worthless.
time. We're
Uh,
that fall off, guys, from iSoft pool, unfortunately, is at a 600. So Klarna is at like a 700. It was killing us, but we unfortunately are losing a lot of people that have under even 600s now. I don't know if it's the economy or what, but it's like 50-50
Hmm.
too, pass and fail.
and what is the purpose of the soft credit pool?
So we send them a router that's like a very, they cost us $500-600, and they're just paying, it's only like 10 or $20 that's factored into the monthly towards that. And what was happening is people weren't sending the boxes back and they were losing a lot
Oh,
of equipment.
oh, I
So
see.
they stuck that in place to try to kind of get a better customer. And then I think to be able to take the steps to go after them, we needed a credit pull on the person.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I wish we didn't have to do it either though. Like, cause it obviously, luckily there's no social, and it doesn't seem to discourage too many people because it's clearly doesn't look like a hard credit pull, but it definitely causes a hold up there.
Yeah, just trying to eliminate as much friction as possible.
Yeah, no, trust me, I know.
So I guess these moments where, for example, that wrong expiration date from last night, is that the customer completes the whole checkout process and they get approval, and then you find out that it's
Yep.
a expiration?
Yeah, they go through the whole process. They get approved. They put their credit card in. Stripe system kicks it. The subscription doesn't start and process the order because it kicks back with that problem.
And then currently, do you have
Okay,
you said you
but
don't have a
the
follow-up.
customer,
Say that again.
And currently when that happens, do you have a follow-up system? Like someone calls them, or is that That just
No,
doesn't
so that's
exist at
where
the
we
moment.
need you. So we have
Gotcha.
email marketing. It goes to drip campaigns and, people start getting emailed, rapidly. But that's it. That's it. And
Okay.
that's why we're coming to you guys. And we need something quicker because it's been a real struggle to make them understand how important the follow up and lead generation is.
Yeah.
It's always been focused on, and we've fought to this point to finally get able to come to a company like you guys. They thought
Gotcha.
a lot of
Okay.
it would just magically happen, direct sales, like there's a sales process and, follow up and going after people that are interested in warm leads and closing them is a crucial part of this. It can't just be somebody sees our ad and hey, they sign up immediately and everyone else,
Mhm.
all of those wonderful warm leads are just sitting there. I'm not even kidding, man. I have so much old data. Like I can give you guys too. We ran Facebook campaigns where we collected tons and tons of leads and phone numbers and just nothing ever got done with them. So,
Oh man,
and
yeah.
so
Okay.
we got a lot of leads for you because I'll give you the newest ones, and obviously the ones that are coming through right away will be the priority, but tons of old ones too that we can dig up.
Yeah, for sure. That would basically be like a database reactivation kind of campaign. We go through all your old leads and just call them up again and try to see if they're interested, if they remember.
Awesome. That would be
Yeah, that's
great.
definitely
Maybe we
doable.
can, there was a lot of money spent on those leads, so hopefully we can recoup some of that
Yeah.
because
And sorry, just to circle back quickly, I feel like this may be some like low-hanging fruit that we can target. But so for Stripe payments, if the Stripe payment does not go through because of a bad security code or a bad expiration date, um, should that throw an error and automatically show the customer like, oh, this is an invalid expiration date instead
it
of just a
does.
And
okay.
then they just decide
And
to
it
give
seems
up.
it seems it seems to be it seems to be working too because the way the back end it actually reads us out each one of them. You can see if they come back, and do something else that throws a different code. A lot of people, you can see it. They like this one guy caught the expiration. He came back. He put his information in, and then it kicked back insufficient funds the second time. So it seems like that's explaining it to people, but they end
I
up
see.
on insufficient funds basically, which
Huh.
doesn't make sense either. But
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's
we're
interesting.
not doing. All I can think is we're not doing like we haven't been able to really get them to ramp the marketing budget up to really what it needs to be. So when this is a pretty small group of people. Like who knows? Maybe it's. I'm not really sure, man. Your guess is as good as mine, honestly. We've gone back and checked Stripe, 1,000 different times. I mean, everything is definitely humming as far as we
Okay.
can see. It's just the banks throwing back these cards, and they don't on some people.
So I guess
Mhm.
one big I guess like job for the AI really is just to understand like why are these people not going through the whole thing, right? Like you were clearly interested, you put in all your info, and then the bank said like insufficient funds, and then just kind of calling them, asking them like, oh, what happened there? Like, are you guys still interested? Trying to understand reasons.
Yep,
It's
yep.
kind
That
of a
is going to
black
be.
box.
It's going to be the big one at first because they do. Like I look at it like it's a lot of trouble to do all that, and they go through the whole
I
process.
know.
They have to be pretty interested.
Like they're just
And
wasting
they're
their time too.
Yeah, and it's real people. I've looked them up. We thought at first like, hey, maybe these are straight up real people. So we're losing them over something really little. Hey, it might just be like it's a big decision to order internet. Sometimes there's more to it. Maybe they go through the whole process because they're interested and we need them to come back. But people forget without any follow up or without them being reminded a few days later. Maybe they forget to come back, and that's what I'm hoping this whole part of it will really help with. Because there's that saying like in sales where it takes people seeing your brand and seeing what you have several times before they even remember it. Like maybe we just are, we're counting on this one time experience and then hoping people remember us, and we just need to be there to remind them we're still here, answer a couple questions and push them through.
Mhm.
I
Like a
think it's an
follow-up
overall
nurture
very
sequence.
short process. I think what happens is if somebody wants internet, they're going to get it in 1 or 2 days from somebody. So I think that's but there's always the branding. We can keep hitting them and stuff, but I think it's a short sales cycle.
Well, I
My
guess it
guess.
depends on who we're marketing to, though, I think, because there's the people like right now that are looking for internet that need internet. Yeah, but like on Facebook and stuff, these people might already have internet. We might be able to sell them on ours is better, but they're going to at least pay their bill or they're going to wait a couple weeks. You know, they're not. I think that makes a lot of sense. So it's two-sided, I think. I think
Yeah,
it
and then
depends on the marketing flow.
yeah, if they can get the privacy we're delivering and they don't have that, no one else has that now, that may be worth switching for, you know? So we'll
But they
see.
might need to wait. Like my thought is, hey, they're not signing up. Maybe it's taking a couple weeks because they need to pay their bill or whatever, and they're just forgetting about us. It's a big decision to switch your internet. Most people already have internet, so
Yeah,
except we
that's
do. I'm
true.
not talking about Google. Google, the pay-per-click we're doing right now, that's people searching the best keywords possible to capture people for internet. They need internet. But like, Facebook, TikTok, all these people, we're talking about doing marketing, potentially to try to get some influencers on this where, they advertise showing this internet being used. One of our routers is one of the best mobile hotspots that you can get. You can pretty much take it wherever you want, and it's got a 24-hour battery. So we're going after all the
Oh,
RV and
that's cool.
off the grid people and all of those different markets as well. So it's two-sided. We have the in-home router solution, and then we have that mobile hotspot kind of pocket internet solution. So we'll obviously probably have a couple different marketing flows here. It's going to be probably a little bit of a different technique for what side of that we're going after.
Could I ask a quick question?
Mhm.
Okay, Randy, what I'd like you to do is just kind of summarize everything that was just said in the meeting to make sure we've got a good outline of what we want to develop for our second Zoom call.
Okay, I think so I think we understand the flow of the checkout process and the pain point that we're trying to solve, which is that gap, that drop off between the soft credit pool to the actual checkout. So they've expressed all the interest, but for some reason or another, they never finish the payment, and that's what we're trying to capture. So I think the agent it is an outbound call because we are reaching out to them.
Mm.
But they are definitely opted in because they've given us their phone number, they've expressed interest, so we have the permission to reach out to that, and just follow up. Perhaps like right away, it's almost like a lead that came in through an ad, and you want to reach out as soon as possible, right? Before they forget or before life gets busy.
Yeah, and this is replacing the human being that we would have went with,
Mhm.
traditional call center to follow up with these people.
Yeah, so it sounds like right now there isn't a solution in place, so it's just like a brand new one. We don't have to do like experimental thing. It's just we're just losing these period.
Brand new. Yeah.
Yeah. So if we can just add something in that will immediately call them back, maybe either it's triggered by a failed checkout or after a set amount of hours or a day in between where you would expect them to have finished the checkout, then reach out to them. That's the trigger. And then we would call them and basically, I guess it would be helpful if you gave us a sample call flow script of what you would want him to, like the AI to say, like, hey, how are you doing?
Yeah,
Try
we can do
to,
that.
yeah,
Like
like
the intro script part of it, right?
yeah, And then we
You're,
can train it with some objection handling to try to convince them if there was a reason that they'd ended up not going through the whole checkout flow, and reassure them, tell them, you can like downsell them or something if you want. And
Which there's a
then
lot of room for that. Like we have a really easy sell for this. For the people that pass the credit check, say they like want unlimited for 139.99, but they want to be downsold. We have a 39.99 starter plan for $40. You get, a hotspot and 10 gigabytes of data to
oh,
just
that's
try us.
way more affordable. Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of room for that. And would you be able to do, I guess I don't know if we'd have two different scenarios here because a real important part of this too, I would want to do is have it trigger immediately for these people that are having insufficient funds or whatever's going on and call them maybe I guess try to connect them to finish payment to either a live person or, somehow work out how we can figure out what's going on there. Maybe
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
just
that is
struggling.
absolutely doable. Yeah, we've definitely done that before. And then depending on also
Can
like the
you, can
soft.
you, let me ask you this, could we configure this into Stripe at some point to where it could just finish their credit card? Like it could call
Um,
them and say, look, it failed, your credit card had problems. Would you like to complete your order?
that's an interesting idea. I don't think we've ever directly integrated into Stripe. I know we have a voice API provider that can process payments over the phone, but they're not Stripe necessarily. So I would have to look into
That's
that
where it would
before
get
giving an
tricky.
answer.
That would work,
Yeah.
but our whole like reoccurring subscription platform is all coded into Stripe. So for it to work right, the
Mhm.
payment would,
Yeah.
I guess it would have to be collected through Stripe unless Stripe has some sort of option to bring in, another merchant. I'd have to look into that, or, some other way you can create the subscription and bring in some sort of billing or something like that. But all right, just a
Yeah.
thought. Just a thought.
Yeah, that's a good thought.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a goal, but maybe we can talk about like maybe milestone one, like the first milestone we want to hit,
Yeah, absolutely.
like what would fall under that one. And
What he
I
was
think,
just talking about. Leave the rest of it out and let's just get the milestone one, having the AI agent reach out to these people that we just basically talked about in the flow.
and I guess those people fall into several categories. You have one category where you get their email, but that's all the contact information you get. They never make it a checkout. And then the second category is people who like make it to checkout, but for one reason or another, like their credit card doesn't work or something. So I guess those are the two categories of customers you have.
I
Would you
think it's
like?
actually
Well, or yeah,
two
you
different
could do
ones.
just, yeah, it would be really all the phone numbers we send you at first, call milestone one, all of the people that we capture all of their information, but they just don't enter a credit card. It doesn't give us a reject code because
Okay.
that's going to be a different approach. And then we have email marketing happening for the emails. So if we can do something for both in 2 weeks or whatever span of time, great. If we're trying to get something up and it's going to affect it, let's just make milestone one getting the AI agent up for all the phone numbers we're going to feed you, for the people that just straight fall off. And then we can double back and try to do something for the email because we do have something in place for those people already. We have nothing in place for these hot, our hot leads, these people that are right there. And those are my priority right now. And we can worry about the colder, warmer leads down the line.
I have a thought. Um, uh, Randy and Kevin, I know from talking with Skylar yesterday, they're in a hurry to really get this rolling.
Yeah.
My thoughts and ask and request is, could like later today, could we put together the presentation based on what we've done today and get that to me, and then I can get that over to Skylar, and then and go ahead and set up a second Zoom call for tomorrow. And I do know tomorrow is Saturday.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that on. We have to definitely do it Monday. I definitely want to get it done, and I appreciate it, but
Okay,
I would lose my mind if I don't take a couple days off from this
okay,
stuff.
so that gives us a little more time to put together our,
Okay, we can do it over the weekend. Yeah.
And then so what we'll do is what is a good time on Monday? It has to be really 12 or 1 o'clock East Coast time or after. Skylar, what's good for you?
Either one will work, preferably
Or it could be
12.
later. It could be
If
later than 1 or 2.
let's do 2. I'm just trying. I'm in Central. I don't really want to follow my lunch hour, so
Okay, so
2
we'll
p.m. Eastern would work.
2
2
okay, I'll
p.m.
set a Zoom
Eastern.
call for 2 p.m. Eastern. And
So that is
okay, so
11 Pacific.
yeah, you figure
Okay.
that out.
Does that
So
work for you,
Okay,
Kev?
cool.
Oh, he's central.
He's
But
Central.
that still
That's
should be
me
1
Pacific.
o'clock.
2 p.m.
Isn't that
Eastern. Kevin,
Yeah.
you need to
Okay.
move that around?
Kev may or may not be able to make that one, but I can make it for sure.
Well, I think it's important to get it. Kevin, are you good?
I'm flexible, like the whole day is set for lunch, so.
Okay, Kevin, what's good for you? Are you good for like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock?
Yeah, let's do. Is that 3 o'clock Eastern or?
Right, 3 o'clock Eastern.
Let's say 3 o'clock Eastern, if that's okay with you
so
guys.
12
Yeah.
noon.
3 o'clock PM Eastern. Okay,
All
all
right.
right, I'll put that together. And that concludes our call. I'll send out Skylar or Eric or Tim, do y'all have any questions before we end the meeting?
I guess I have one quick thing. So just to make sure I'm on the same page, like the key thing we want to focus on for milestone 1 is those customers on that payment page. Something happens, like let's get a AI to immediately call them back and say like, hey, your credit card was declined because of insufficient payments, and then like maybe redirect them to a live representative. Is that kind of where we're at?
Yeah, and then the other only scenario would be the people that don't put a card in at all, and maybe those people it says, we saw you fell off or you didn't finish the checkout process. It'd be a little bit of a different response because they didn't actually even put a credit card in versus somebody that failed.
Okay.
But yeah.
So basically follow up with anyone who put in their phone number but never got a complete
They
checkout.
completed an order essentially. I mean, we capture everything, their address, the whole everything. They just fall off.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that'll be our phase 1. And then timeline wise, what are you guys looking at? Your ideal timeline?
As quick as possible. We are
Okay,
literally
ASAP.
like waiting to pull the trigger on a massive marketing
Skylar?
launch. We
Skylar-
just don't want to waste the money, if the leads, like we don't have this in place, we're gonna be losing a
Gotcha,
lot of our
okay.
ad spend.
Yeah.
So
Let me interject. Randy, if you would give, our week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4 that we go through. We did it yesterday on the insurance.
Yeah.
Would you share that with Skylar? Because we were talking about it yesterday, and that was so question 1 is if let's say Monday they made their first payment and we were off to the races, what would be our timing? And then I would include that week 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay. Do you want me to talk about it now or?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Let me pull that up real quick. Because I know that one for that client we talked with yesterday, it was more custom. They had a custom CRM integration,
Right.
which
Yeah.
takes more time. This one is kind of just you're just feeding us like it could be as simple as a Google Sheet with all the numbers you want me to call, right? So it's gonna be a lot faster than that.
Is that something that'd be doable, Skylar, for you to provide us with a like Google sheet with
oh,
like
absolutely.
name, number, and then like
We
the
could even,
reason, like card decline funds or
yeah, we could even eventually like Zapier it or something. Our system is already set up where it'll export all of that into a whatever format for
What do you
that reason.
currently
So
have it all stored at? Is it like a
and
CRM or database somewhere?
we built our own custom backend. That's on Heroku that's tied into the website, and everything
Gotcha.
is stored
Okay.
there. All the customer information, billing's tied into it. Whole 9
but it can like
yards.
auto export to a
Yeah, it
Google
can auto export date ranges, what happened, all the information, all
perfect.
the
Yeah.
Stripe call outs, everything that happens in the flow is actually in there. So it's very, very detailed as well. It'll even tell you what customer, where they ended, like where they dropped off in the flow, whether they passed the credit
Yeah.
check, what Stripe code failed, everything.
Perfect.
If you can basically have that sheet and then just have it constantly update for us for the life cycle of the product, I think that will tremendously help us expedite things. One thing
Yeah,
to call out
definitely.
outbound call number. I'm guessing one of the things you want, which most of our customers want, is caller ID as well. So when this outbound call, when it calls out, it'll say like UMax or something along
Yes,
those lines.
absolutely.
Something like that. So we can get this outbound caller out. Randy will probably give you a type line, but realistically, to just get the caller ID, that's about a 2-week process, just to give you a heads up, for us to register with like the phone company and get that all legally registered.
That's fine. I mean, I want to do this the right way. We've already seen the issues not having caller ID in the drop off, and it's not worth it. Let's just do it right, because that's going to make a huge difference on, especially if people have been on the site that says UMax and they see UMax on their caller ID. It's not going to seem like a scam or anything shisty. And so appreciate the heads up. We'll just factor that into it. It'll be part of it.
Okay, cool. So I'm looking at the doc that we shared. Yes, we went over yesterday for the implementation timeline. Basically, week one, we finalized the scripts, the workflows, the voice model. We kind of start working on that. Week two for them, it was the backend integration, so we can skip that because we just have a simple Google Sheet tied into. So week two for you guys would just be the testing and then optimization. As we test it out manually, like us, we QA it, you guys can QA it, play with it until you like it. And then we'll optimize it there. And then we could deploy it as early as week 2 or 3. And then after the launch, we will be doing a lot of monitoring and then real world refinements. Because a lot of things that we think would work in our head may not work the way we want.
Yeah, no, that
So
is.
we'll just keep optimizing it from there. So that would be the
Yeah.
expected timeline.
That sounds perfect to me. Yeah, we're only as good as the data we have. And it never is what you think is going to work. I've learned sometimes the weirdest things don't resonate
Yeah.
with people.
Well,
Okay,
guys,
cool.
thank you
Cool.
so much. I want to say we're really absolutely thrilled with what you have to offer. We all loved your demo. We're looking forward to seeing, how you can add, huge value to what we're doing here at UMax. And we are really absolutely thrilled that Mark was able to connect and get us in front of you. So Skylar's your main point for whatever you need. I'll be here for whatever you need to, and feel free to reach out to Eric. Eric and I are marketing and strategy guys. Skylar is the technology guy. So there's how you can, whatever your questions, we're happy to all get together, and we all work together every day. So
Very good.
Awesome.
All right,
Love
okay,
it.
so Kevin and Randy, please stay online after we all hang up. And Tim and Eric and Skylar, thank you so much for today, and we will see you on 3 o'clock East Coast time on Monday. And in the meantime,
Sounds good.
over the weekend, I'll have the whole presentation laid out for you.
Perfect.
Cool.
All
thank you,
right.
gentlemen. Great to meet you.
All right. Great meeting you
Thank you.
guys.
All right.
Bye.
Yeah, it was
Bye-bye.
nice meeting everybody. Talk
Thank
soon.
you. Bye-bye. Okay, we still have Eric. Let's see. We still have Skylar. Okay,
There we go.
okay, we're all
Right.
down to the 4 of us. Okay, Kevin and Randy, I'd like to introduce you, as you've already met, to Tim. Tim
We've met,
Ransom.
yes.
And Tim, just so you know, Tim and I secretly are best friends and buddies, and we've been working together for the last 2 years on things. And you guys heard me in my presentation to you yesterday, is that Tim is going to give us the pricing that we need to have on this. And in return for that, he's got another project that we can talk about here, but he wants us to help give him the cousin's discount, so to speak. So
We'll give you the friends and family discount.
absolutely.
There
So Tim, why don't you tell them a little bit about your poster business?
Yeah, so you can look at it online right now at postersalon.com, postersalon.com. And what I've done is I've spent 5 years creating the largest archive on the planet of music concert posters from back the 1940s through, Led Zeppelin, the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. We have it all. Any artist you want Grateful Dead, some concert in San Francisco in 1967, we have it. Okay. So, and also we have movie posters from the 1890s all the way through up to
1890s. Wow.
Yeah, we do have some of those first stuff. And we've got right up to current. We don't have all the latest stuff because of copyright stuff, but we've got everything 60s, 70s, 80s, and back. All the, you want Casablanca, you want it in Italian, German, and French, and Swedish, we've got it, okay? And we've got all high res, they're all retouched. I've built this massive archive, like I said, 12,000 items. We also have fine artwork, right? We have Elvis collections. We have photography collections, sports collections. You want Babe Ruth from 1929 in his, in a series hit against the clubs that we've got photos of that. We have some of the best Asian artists from the 1800s, woodblock cuts, just phenomenal stuff. Western stuff. We got Western movies. So you can see the collection doesn't stop. We have vintage posters that everybody loves, travel posters. We have automotive posters. So if you're looking for, and we sell posters and we sell canvas, and a lot of them are rare and a lot of them are very popular ones that you have. So we have the collection, and I've built a website that's custom coded with an Indian team that I worked with for years. So now we have the product, and of course there's something for everybody here. There's not anyone on the planet that wouldn't like something here. And if you're up doing an Airbnb, the cheapest way to do it to make it look better is put some nice posters on the wall, right? That's the cheapest way to do it.
Yeah.
So we have canvas prints and we have posters. The canvas are framed on wood, and we have 4 sizes of each of those, up to 4 foot tall. So we believe we have the right product, okay? And now I'm working with a marketing guy on the side here who's going to be doing the Facebook marketing for us to get that going, and all kinds of other social marketing. And the guy that I'm working with on that, and nobody knows this, it's just Skylar. Skylar's going to work with me on this project on the side, but you don't know that, okay? So actually, Skylar's the guy who'll be doing the marketing, right, for this to get it rolling. But then Skylar suggested me yesterday, hey, look what Randy and Kevin have here. Why don't we tie this into what we're doing? Now, we are a startup. I mean, I'm selling, $4,000 or $5,000 a month on eBay right now. Amazon was such a pain in the ass, and Amazon yesterday came in with, oh, your prices are too high, and it's because we had to buy advertising on Amazon, or we had to add in the price for advertising, or we weren't selling anything. And so they said, no, you're too expensive now. So I said, okay, we're going to cancel you because I spent way too much money and time. So we were super successful on Etsy. But then Etsy decides that, anybody who calls up and complains and says, I own the rights to this 1929 poster. Well, no, you don't. So they just would cancel us, right? So we got canceled because they don't want to deal with that stuff. Anybody complains, they'll kick you off. So we forgot Etsy. eBay's different. eBay's, if somebody complains, they just take the item off. That's fine. We got 12,000 items, we don't care. So what we want to do now is promote, and Skylar's going to help with this, is promote our website so we have sales through SEO and social that are going to start moving some product. So right now we're not selling anything really direct. We're selling 1 or 2 direct. That's it. But we have everything ready. And what we're thinking of is, why don't we incorporate something that, like you're doing, to see if we can help drive sales into the company and maybe help with, organizing sales